Now, there has been much confusion in Mogadishu, where the IGAD Summit is due to get underway today. A statement sent out late on Monday night claimed the summit had been cancelled. However, this morning, the Somali president released a statement saying the gathering will go ahead as planned. Leaders from 7 East African countries are set to attend the summit. Political progress in Somalia and the trouble in South Sudan are on the agenda. Security has been stepped up in Mogadishu as al-Shabaab continues to carry out attacks in the region. Well, CCTV's Jane Keo has been keeping tabs on that summit. She's standing by for us in Mogadishu. Jane, there has been some uncertainty, some confusion as to whether or not the IGAD Summit will take place in Mogadishu. Is there any clarity now?
Well, there is Beatrice, and this meeting is just about to get underway here at the Peace Hotel in Mogadishu. Of course, it's the 28th IGAD Extraordinary Summit. Such a big deal, such a big occasion and special occasion for Somalia, which is actually hosting this meeting for the very first time in the last 30 years. Thing is, Beatrice, only three presidents we understand will be attending the meeting, and they are of course Somalia's Mohamud, Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta, plus neighboring Djibouti's Gele. The other 4 presidents have actually sent their foreign affairs ministers plus diplomats, including Ethiopia, who is the current IGAD, or who is the current chair of IGAD. Again, this meeting is running way behind schedule. In fact, it wasn't until an hour and a half ago that Somalia's Mohamud, who is the host president, arrived here at the Peace Hotel to welcome his guests. So far we haven't seen any of the presidents here, but we understand they've already arrived in Somalia. Again, like you mentioned, there's been a lot of confusion as to whether this meeting was actually going to take place. But last evening, IGAD had sent out a memo saying that the meeting had been cancelled. The Somali presidency responded a couple of hours later, sending a statement maintaining that the meeting was still on. Of course, many believe this is all part of the security risks that are involved. There's no doubt that Somalia still remains one of the world's most dangerous places. We still got the threat of the al-Shabaab that remains very real. Like you mentioned there, they're still carrying out sporadic attacks, suicide attacks, even here in the capital. And this is years after they were actually pushed out of the capital. But the Somali administration, the government officials maintain that they've put all measures in place to ensure that this meeting is a success. And I can tell you, Beatrice, for most of today, Mogadishu is actually on lockdown.
Well, Jen, you have mentioned that 3 presidents are likely to be in attendance at that IGAD summit. What's likely to dominate the agenda, though?
Well, security still remains top on the agenda. It still remains a major concern, especially the threat of homegrown terrorist organizations. In Somalia, we are talking about the al-Shabaab. It still remains a major concern, not just in Somalia, but also in neighboring Kenya, which has borne the brunt of this terrorist organization. We understand the crisis in South Sudan will also be on the table. Just recently, we had IGAD okay the deployment of about 4,000 troops to South Sudan following the recent crisis. We also understand the upcoming elections here in Somalia will also be discussed. Of course, they were postponed from September the 10th all the way to October. Rather, they were postponed from September the 10th to October the 30th. Beatrice?
Right, Jane Keo for us there in Mogadishu on that upcoming IGAD Summit.